Welcome and hello. I'm Jillian, your therapist, registered holistic nutritionist, and mindfulness teacher for the next 10 weeks. I'm so honored to be here with you on your journey to becoming the most present person that you can be, which will not only help you become the connected mother that you see yourself being, but will serve you in all aspects of your professional life, your relationships, and most importantly, the way you relate to yourself. When we are anxious, we're spending a lot of time thinking about the future. And when we're thinking about the future, we aren't fully present for what is happening right now in front of us. So not only do we feel completely awful, and if you're here, I know you know what I mean: tension headaches, feeling on edge or maybe shaky sometimes, losing sleep or not having quality sleep, being irritable or having a short fuse with people around you, feeling indecisive, overwhelmed. You get the idea. But we also miss having that deep, meaningful connection with our children because we aren't truly with them even when we are with them. When anxiety is around us and we are stuck in this constant cycle of thinking and worrying, we miss those times when our child makes a face at us and we make that same face back at them. Or when they're peering up at us with their beautiful, curious eyes, just waiting for the moment when they lock eyes with us, their mama, which makes them feel seen, important, and loved. We miss the little things like noticing when they first try to feed their dolly some milk, or when they almost do their shoelace up for the first time. We miss opportunities to help them manage their emotions because often we are so stressed and tired that we don't have the energy to support them and instead become frustrated ourselves, even angry or reactive with them. Honestly, the list of all the ways that anxiety hijacks our opportunities for connection, contentment, and joy is endless, which I'm sure is why you're here. The great news is that we are going to help you get your time and your life back. You are in the right place. So, congratulations on knowing you needed to do something about it and believing that it doesn't have to be this way. Okay, first things first. I want you to know about this program and why I made it the way I did. This program is informed by a few psychotherapy modalities, all of which are evidence based and scientifically proven to be effective. Some of these are mindfulness based cognitive therapy, mindfulness based stress reduction, acceptance and commitment therapy, and cognitive behavioral therapy. That probably means nothing to you, but it's important for me to tell you that this program is built on a solid foundation of demonstrated successful treatment approaches. CBT is basically the gold star of therapy for anxiety treatment. It's been found in hundreds, if not thousands, of scientific studies to be the best type of talk therapy for anxiety and mood because the people who take it have the best outcomes, meaning they get better more than people who did any type of other talk therapy. Mindfulness, that's part of this entire program, has been found to be more effective for different forms of mental health than medication and very beneficial for stress. So, when you put mindfulness together with psychotherapy, you get an extremely powerful and effective way of treating anxiety. Braving wild motherhood takes healing to a whole other level, though. When I was working with clients over the course of my career, both in social work and in nutrition and wellness, I kept seeing the same thing over and over. People would pick one type of treatment for their mental health, either talk therapy, or a type of nutritional protocol or diet, or meditation and yoga, or essential oil therapy. There are so many things out there. But each time I noticed that people either got better, but then they became anxious again when something changed in their lives, or they got just a little bit better, like 20% better, but not 80% better or 100% better. I realized this was because however they chose to work on anxiety, It just wasn't enough. It was only taking into account one part of their whole self and only one part of where their anxiety was coming from, either their brain or their body or their spirit. But we are all of these things. And because we are these whole, complex, synergistic beings, our mental health is deeply connected with how we are doing on all of these levels. Because of that, Braving Wild Motherhood uses the head heart hormone approach, which includes nutrition and exercise components that directly support your body and mind together. On top of the mindfulness-based psychotherapy programming, the nutrition, and movement, I personally selected what I have found to be the most powerful meditation practices out there today and some of the most informative and inspirational content. During the program, if I ask you to use a meditation or practice written by somebody else, I'm going to refer you directly to their website. For example, later in the program, you will learn about the Wheel of Awareness meditation by Dr. Dan Siegel, who is one of my absolute favorite people, and it is one of my absolute most favorite practices. So I recommend it to all of my clients. Dr. Dan is one of the world's leading psychiatrists in the area of relationships, how people relate to their children, how people relate to themselves, and how children's brains grow because of relationships. And by the way, if you haven't got any of his parenting books yet, I highly recommend you do. I've also recommended material by Tara Brach, Brene Brown, Kristen Neff, Michael Pollan, and more. If you don't know who these people are, that's okay. You will later. And you'll probably want to go down the rabbit hole with any of them, watching all their stuff on YouTube and on their websites and reading their books. But I digress. The last thing I want you to know is that Braving Wild Motherhood is specific to mothers. Okay, that's obvious from the title. But I want you to know that this type of mindfulness-based therapy is gentle enough that it can be done if you are in your postpartum period or if you're pregnant. It can be done when you're tired and vulnerable. So can the nutrition and exercise, although please remember to consult your health caregiver first. Some types of talk therapy for anxiety are extremely stress-provoking, and they can be very effective. In fact, this type of therapy is something that I do offer for mothers, but only after they have done this first. I wanted an approach that would be safe, supportive, and inclusive for every mother, something that could only nourish and benefit. So if you decide after this program that you want to next level things, email me and I can tell you what that might look like. So let's go through some housekeeping. These are things you absolutely need to know before starting the program. Number one, this journey has the potential to completely change your life, but change and growth does not come easy. This 10-week program will be challenging. You will experience a lot of feelings throughout. Some will feel good, but others not so much. The only true way to overcome anxiety is to go right through it. We can't go around it. So, when you're in the middle of this program, the thick of it, just know that it may be difficult, but that's why I'm here with you, as well as all of the other supports we've put in place for you. Number two, show up. I don't just mean come to your psychotherapy sessions. I mean show up for yourself. Give yourself the chance to experience the benefits of it by making the most of what the program offers. Do the home practice as much as you possibly can. Use the support options as much as you can, like posting in the Facebook group, writing to Jillian through email, and even using WhatsApp text messages if that's part of your plan. Do not make yourself small by not asking something you want to know because everyone else is walking the same path as you. You're not alone in this. Number 3, time commitment. Therapy sessions are a big part of your group journey, but equally, if not more important, is the home practice, which is both worksheets and meditations. What you experience in the home practice is what will be the change maker for you. So later in this module, you will find a handout that will help you plan out your schedule so that you know you have time for everything. Number 4, safety and confidentiality in psychotherapy sessions. This program counts as psychotherapy unless you're completing a self-study option. With therapy, there is a requirement that I keep all of your personal details 100% confidential. There are a few limitations to that, which I will go over in our first session together. Number 5, the Facebook group. The Facebook group, Braving Wild Motherhood Village, is a useful place to get support, see updates or announcements, find links quickly, get extra resources, and so on. But joining this group is completely optional for you because I cannot guarantee privacy over Facebook. That said, if you're open to it, I do recommend it because the Braving Wild Motherhood Facebook group is your first stop for a lot of things. The Facebook group is closed, meaning the only people that may join it are people who are doing Braving Wild Motherhood. You get membership in this group from the time you signed up to the time you complete your last week of sessions, or a total of 10 weeks. This can be extended should you decide after Braving Wild Motherhood to continue your journey of self-growth. Number 6, email support. Depending on the plan you registered for, you may have the option for email support with me. Please make sure that you're familiar with the privacy limitations through Gmail and your own email provider. And number 7, text message support. Depending on the plan you registered for, you may have the option for text message support from Jillian. These messages are done through WhatsApp telephone app. Please make sure you familiarize yourself with their privacy policy. As you may have noticed, we take privacy very seriously around here. Text messages will be responded to as soon as possible during our business days, which are listed in the Learning Hub. Okay, we're moving on to the 80% rule. You've probably heard about the 80-20 rule, which says that you only need to do things about 80% of the time in order to get results. Well, that is true for the Braving Wild Motherhood program. As long as you commit to completing everything 80% of the time, you will see success. And I want you to have the most success possible in this program, but I know that at times life happens. Things come up that we just can't predict. So instead of feeling like you have to be 100% perfect all the time, know that there is a little bit of wiggle room. The thing is that doing 80% of everything is not as easy as it seems. It's still a lot of time and a lot of work. Some weeks you will only feel like doing 50%, or maybe less. I deeply understand feeling that way, but it's my job to be perfectly honest with you and tell you that it's very important to hit that 80% of completion to get to the place you want to, the place where presence and connection lives and anxiety doesn't. If and when you start to feel like you can only do 60% one week, commit to doing 100% the next, and use your support channels because that's why they're there. Program Flow and Learning Hub. What you learn in Braving Wild Motherhood comes from two main places, the Learning Hub and your psychotherapy sessions. The Learning Hub, which you're in right now, is organized into weekly modules. Within each module, you will find the teachings for each week broken up into easily digestible lessons. Each lesson has a corresponding action task, which might be a worksheet or a written task or a meditation or both. It's very important that you complete these before your corresponding psychotherapy sessions. I'm going to repeat that. It is very important to complete your lessons for that week before your psychotherapy session. The reason is that in our calls, we talk about what you learned in the lessons and how the action tasks went for you. We process it together. If you haven't completed the lessons, you won't be able to ask questions, share your thoughts, or gain as much clarity or insight that you need to really gain the therapeutic benefits. So please organize your time as best as you can so that you're able to move through the module before the week of your session. Recording your action tasks or home practice. Each module and action task comes with corresponding worksheets. You are welcome to print them out and write on them. Or you can just use them as a guide and write everything in a journal if you prefer. Some people like the organization of worksheets. Others love to have the creative freedom to journal. It's completely personal preference. I personally love journals because I can make them colorful and add different pictures and mementos in them. And I also like to write extra thoughts in them. Writing is a great form of processing things that come up, but whatever works for you. As long as you write things down somewhere, then you do you. The key message is please write things down. Psychotherapy sessions. These sessions are held through the Practice Better platform. Once you have registered for the program, you will be invited to schedule your sessions within the next 10 weeks. Once your session times are confirmed, you'll get an email with the video link. And when your session time comes, all you have to do is click it and you are ready to go. Now we're going to talk about all the ways that Braving Wild Motherhood has support for you. This program is therapeutic treatment just like you would get if you went to group or individual counseling for anxiety. But it's also so much more than that. It's coaching, it's peer support. It's an entire system built to catch you in the places that you might normally fall. We have got you covered more than you would ever experience in any other treatment protocol. So now we're going to go over all of the supportive tools available to you. Psychotherapy sessions. These are when you and I meet with each other over video. We review and build on the lessons from each week, troubleshoot and process. We also might do live mindfulness practices and discuss how the experience was for you. This is where a lot of the personal growth takes place. If you decided not to opt for weekly or even bi-weekly sessions, there's always an option to add them in. Most people really benefit from these therapy sessions. Email counseling. Depending on the level of support you chose, you will receive a certain number of emails from me throughout the entire program. This is me checking in with you and asking you very specific questions based on where you are in order to keep you moving and keep your momentum going. I also want to make sure that you understand so you don't get stuck. You can also use these as opportunities to ask me questions or bring up any challenges that you are experiencing. Text message support. So again, depending on the package you chose at the beginning, you might have the option to text me to get support in live time or as close to it as possible. If I'm in a session with a client or if it's not during business hours, I will respond as soon as I can. It's really important to note that none of these supports are meant for emergency situations. If you feel like there's a safety risk, please call 911 or visit your nearest emergency room. And lastly, the Facebook group. I mentioned before that this group is optional. That's because I cannot guarantee your privacy over the Facebook platform. But if you decide to participate in the group, you'll be able to ask questions which your peers who are also going through the program can answer or give you support with. Both myself and another highly trained and trusted colleague of mine are available in the group to answer questions in between the weekly group sessions and on top of your emails and text message support. If you have a question, please try to post it in this group as your first stop and access your peers for support. This is how we grow our village and feel even more connected. So, as you can see, you have multiple ways to learn, grow, and be successful throughout your journey. I'm so honored to be a part of it with you. So, on that note, let's move on to our next lesson.